I'm just going to shoot a short video on how to pull Vitrograph glass. You can use a clay pot like this. You fill with little bits and pieces of glass from other projects or certain colors that you would like to use. And then you stack it all inside a pot like this with a hole, whatever size diameter you want. Just the size of the hole will determine how fast and the size of the rods or the vitrograph that you can pull out afterwards. It's a process of putting this pot with the broken bits and pieces of glass up in a kiln, heating the glass to melting temperature, which is between 16 and 1700 degrees, and then pulling the glass out of the bottom of the pot as it's molten. And you can get different shapes. You do have pretty good control over the glass as far as the size of rod you want, the shape of the glass. Being a little bit creative in your glass pulling as far as the shapes that you can control and manipulate will give you a lot better selection of glass for future projects. We'll see how it goes. Thank you. Okay, I have a clay pot exactly like this, only a larger one actually, a 6-inch. And it's full of glass, it's up in the kiln, and it's coming up to temperature. I have a little window that I can open up here and have a look inside through the bottom to see how the glass is coming, and we're getting pretty close to being able to use the glass. And here's Katie coming into the glass shop. Okay, our glass is up to temperature. I've opened the bottom, as you can see here. I'll swing it out of the way. I have a hole that goes directly up to the bottom of the pot. Use a pair of forceps and glass cutters, and we will see how the glass comes out. The glass could be a little hotter yet, but you have very good control of the vitrograph as it comes out. I'm going to pull a couple of straight rods, and then we'll start doing a little bit of twisting and turning. But as you can see, you have very good control over the diameter as well as how straight you get your rod. It's flowing quite nicely. I'll cut it off. If you want fatter rods, pull the glass out slowly. If you want narrower rods, then pull the glass a little quicker. You have full control over the size of rod that you would like. when I'm pulling straight rod, I generally like to pull 32 to 36 inches. But there's a lot that you can do with Vitrograph. You can curve the glass, you can make squigglies, you can manipulate the glass however you would like. And that is totally in your control. So you can have bends, smooth bends or sharp bends or whatever you'd like. Just determined on your creativity and what you would like. But you can totally manipulate the glass into different shapes, different squigglies. That's when the glass gets really interesting, what you can do with it. So that's a pretty interesting shape right there. I don't know what I'll use it for now, but it'll be used for something. Like I said, you have really good control over the glass, how it comes out, how it looks, what the thickness is, if you want bends and curves and whatever you would like. You can do some pretty cool stuff with it. And it doesn't have to all be big stuff either. It can be small pieces, any shape you like. It just allows you to use glass that you cannot buy. As you can see, you have full control of the glass. We'll make some really squiggly ones here. There, that's Vitrograph bits and pieces. I'm going to carry on. I've still got a lot of glass left in the pot, and I'll be able to have a pretty good mountain of glass pieces here that I'll use in future projects. That's Vitrograph. You'll have to stay tuned for what I make out of the pieces. Thanks for watching. There, we've been at this for a little while now, probably about a half hour pulling glass. And as you can see, you can get some really cool shapes. And what you do with them is up to you. But don't know if you can see this from there, but we're getting a pretty good pile of really interesting bits and pieces of glass. And I'm shooting this video by myself, otherwise I would get the camera over here so that you could look up inside the kiln and see the glass as it's coming out of the pot. But like I said, we've been at it for about a half hour now, and as you can see, I'm still getting some pretty cool, interesting pieces of glass. And I don't know what I'll use it for yet, but it'll be used for something. The other thing you can do as it comes out of the kiln, well, there's many things you can do, but with the forceps, if you grab onto the glass and while it comes out, twist the glass, it gives a really neat dimension to the glass. Because as the glass is coming out of the pot, there's other colors in it. It's not just one straight color. I've got, for the most part in this Vitrograph pull, it's clear glass with transparent blue. But you can still get a candy cane effect by twisting it as you pull it out of the pot. And you get really neat designs. But you can see how quickly the glass stiffens up in the air, even though it's molten glass in the pot. When it hits the air, it stiffens right up. That glass, you generally don't have to worry about the glass being annealed at this stage because, number one, the glass is so thin, and number two, when I use the glass in a future project, the glass will be annealed at that point, and the stress will be taken out of the glass. So there's a cool piece there. I don't know what I'll use it for, but it's pretty cool. Anyways, this is Vitrograph, and this is the only way to get some glass pieces like this. So you can use it in some of your glass projects for embellishing plates or bowls, or you can use it to make like a bird nest bowl or something like that, and those are really cool. But there's just something really neat about being creative like this. And as you can see, you have really good control of the glass. It doesn't just pour out onto the floor. You can manipulate it a little bit, and what you do with those pieces is entirely up to you. That's Vitrograph. Okay, I've taken the camera off of the tripod, and I'm going to show you up into the bottom of the kiln a little bit. I'm all done with pulling glass. As you can see, the pot is still very hot inside. But I've got most of the glass out of the pot. You never get all of the glass out of the pot. But that's how the kiln works. It's mounted from the ceiling. And I'll show you some of the pieces that we got from today's project. So we have some long pieces, but we've got a whole bunch of really interesting little bits of glass that we will use for other projects. And even though the glass was hot coming out of the kiln, it's cooled off enough for right now that you can see some of the interesting pieces that we have. So I have no idea what these pieces will be used for, but they will get used in a project. Here's an interesting little piece. It's almost like the head of a bird. But there. Those are some of the glass pieces that we wound up with at the end of our Vitrograph. But all these pieces are loose. They're not stuck together at all. So we'll either use these pieces as they are, or we'll break off little pieces as we need for a project. Hope you enjoyed this video, and we'll see you again soon. Bye.